Hey everybody, how you doing out there? Mr. Bookman here, and today I'm going to be reading Christmas Trolls by Jan Brett. Please enjoy. Christmas Trolls. I'm Triba, and the day my brother Sammy and I went to our neighbor's farm to pick out a Christmas tree was the beginning of the most unforgettable Christmas I've ever had. As we went home through the forest with a perfect tree packed on the sleigh, Tuppy started sniffing and barking. I couldn't see anything, but I felt sure someone was watching us. When we arrived home, we forgot about the forest. Mom and Dad had bought our boxes of ornaments to decorate the tree. Sammy and I put evergreen wreaths, mistletoes, and hollies all around the house. We had already wrapped our presents and hidden them away for Christmas morning. Then some of our Christmas decorations started to disappear. I didn't notice until Dad asked if we had moved the trinket box he had hidden for Mom. I shivered because that Mom had just asked me the same thing about the mittens she had knitted for Dad. Sammy and I looked in all the unusual hiding places, but we couldn't find them. Tuffy was acting strange too. He sniffed and barked and ran around in circles as if he were looking for something. Then a few days before Christmas, the treetop angel was gone. What would be next? I started carrying my favorite red horse everywhere. Early the next morning, when I went to feed Arnie, I saw something flying across the snow. It was our Christmas pudding. I harnessed Arnie, bells and all, and raced after it into the forest. As I got closer, I could see that our pudding was being carried along pin cushions to the top of Hedgehog. I didn't know what to do, so I yelled, "Stop, come back!" But it didn't stop until it reached the bottom of the forest. Fir trees. The hedgehog put the pudding down and scrambled off. Just then, the tree started rocking back and forth. Suddenly, a funny-looking ladder dropped down from above, and two trolls scurried down, pouncing on the pudding before I could even move. They yelled, they pulled it back and forth as they went up the ladder. scrambling all the way to the top. I climbed right up and after them. Looked inside, there was a floor of their throw house where all of our Christmas things in a heart. Hep. The trolls were grabbing at them, each one wanting what the other one had. Hello, trolls, I called. Those are our Christmas things. The trolls dove into the pile, clutching our gifts. Mine, they claimed, mine, mine. I looked at them and I had to smile. Their shivered tails were hanging out. Their pants were torn and patched. Their cheeks were bright red and their hair was standing straight up from all the pulling and tugging at each other. Christmas, they wailed. We want Christmas. You want Christmas, I asked, puzzled. Yes, they shouted. Give us Christmas. Well, you can't just take Christmas, I said. The trolls looked surprised. They squeaked. They gulped. They shuffled their feet. Want Christmas, they said, sounding miserable. Okay, you can have Christmas, but first, what are your names? Mig, said one. Tig, said the other. I looked around their messy hut. Mig, Tig, let's begin by getting your house ready for Christmas. I started to straighten up and put things away. They began to help. Nice, I said when we had finished. Now let's make our house look like Christmas. We went outside and gathered evergreens, berries, and pine cones. Now we need Christmas tree, I told them. That's easy. You live in the tree, so you can have 4 trees inside of just one if you want to. Christmas trees, they shouted, jumping up and down. And we decorated each of the trees that held up troll house, or decorated each tree. Tig and Meg had a small setback in the way back to the hut. I knew I had some more explaining to do. When I first got here, you were snatching things for yourselves and acting really grumpy. Try playing together and have some fun. First, they asked. I showed them how to jump rope. I told them how much I liked their tail knots and earrings. They smiled shyly and started rocking in their shirt tails. Nice hair, pretty belt, they said, grinning at me, and they taught me a little troll dance. They were catching on. Now, if you really want Christmas, you must be generous with each other. If you do that, you will have Christmas right here in your troll house. The trolls cocked their hands and squinted. They were trying hard to understand how they plead. I felt my red horse in my pocket. I knew I had to show them, so I took it out and gave it to them. This is for you. The trolls squealed and jumped up and down with glee. They took turns passing my horse back and forth, happily playing with it together. It was the first time for me to go home. I slipped out quietly and climbed down to Arnie. To my surprise, their hedgehog had packed all their presents on the sleigh for me to take home while we were having Christmas in the troll house. On Christmas morning, Sammy and I ran downstairs to find our tree lit with candles and our stockings filled. We opened our presents in front of the fire, but this Christmas was full of surprises. I heard a bumping and a scratching noise. Tuffy barked. I listened and followed the sounds. Outside on the doorstep was a Christmas present. I unwrapped it and found a wild and wonderful troll horse. Tig and Mig, I explained. When I held it, I knew for sure that the trolls understood Christmas, and I knew that this was the best Christmas ever. Just think, running into trolls in a forest. That'd be neat. Well, they don't exist. Wish they did. That would be cool. Well, how many of you believe in trolls? Do you think there's trolls out there? If you do, leave a thumbs up if you believe there's trolls out there. Just curious. Well, everybody, I hope all of you enjoyed this Christmas story. And if you did, give it a thumbs up and share it. And if you're new and came along this Christmas story reading, hit that red subscribe button down below and subscribe to my channel and check out my other readings. But again, everyone, you all take it easy out there and have a fantastic one. Until next time, they call me Mr. Bookman, and this Christmas story reading is over. Have a good one, everybody, and take care.